Hello everyone. I would like to show you how I paint this lemon and apple with watercolors. So I start with a simple drawing. Give shape to the shadow. When you paint with watercolors, you think very simple. Of course, you can go in details in all this, but basically, we just want to give some hints. You can make lines for the shadows, or you can just do it afterwards with the brush. But I tend to make some marks just to give some kind of indication. I like to add the space or something interesting with the space. So this is basically the drawing. Some people don't like to show the pencil mark. I really don't care. I think it's part of the watercolor. It's part of the beauty of this technique. So I will start with the color of the light, which is very important when you do watercolor. You start with the light. So if I have a highlight here, let's say, which will leave the white of the paper, so I will cover everything except this white area. So this will be my first move. Very simple. You don't have to go back into this right now. You leave it like this. Then we go to the apple. The same. My highlight, it's going to be in this area. So I leave it like this. Maybe something here I can see. And there's a little bit more red into this yellow. You want to remember that watercolor, the paint gets lighter once it dries, so you have to think about it when you paint. So in order to give a connection to the surrounding, I will put something on the shadow just to indicate a little bit darkness over there, which is somehow purple towards the blue. So I use cobalt blue and alizarin crimson. Now this might bleed one into the other, which is a good idea actually. So make a connection between the two shapes, because right now it's a shape. It's very flat, still shape. And this will be shadow, and this will be shadow, and it will be together. And this will be light and shadow. Shadow will be together, the form shadow and the cast shadow. So I'm using this big mop brush to make the first layer full of water. So I will have the lightest I will have on the figures. There's so many ways to paint with watercolor, and you have to choose which way you approach it. Usually it comes with time that you develop your own style based on your whatever you like. Some people are more tight, some people are more loose. But what I find about watercolor is that you give the brush some kind of respect. It's not just a tool. There's something nice what is happening when the brush touches the surface of the paper. A few things are happening here that they are not controlled. And of course I can go back and repaint it, but I tend to like it, you know, all these so-called mistakes that they are. Give some kind of life to the painting. So we wait a little bit so it will get dry, and we can go again with the second layer. If the paper is too wet, the second layer will melt, will bleed into this. You know, it will emerge everything together. So we check with the back of the palm. So now I want to say something about the light, which means about the dark. It's funny sometimes, but this is what it. So this distinct the light from the shadow. Okay. Now here I have kind of orangey area. I can go inside with orange area a little bit, wet into wet, which means they bleed together, they mix together, and I have this light and this dark. So now this will be very light. I can see also at the same time that the background is supposed to be darker than the light on the lemon. It will be later. I will put it so it will pop up. Now here we have an area that sometimes if you want you can go back and soften the edge, or you can make another value here at the light just to go and to make it round and to lead into this highlight. We go to the apple now. Now there is a reflected light in this area. I don't want to make it everything same. Can go a little bit softer here with the paint, just to make something that will show. So here we have the basic idea of watercolor that we can see here. We put the light, and then we put the dark, and now we're going to develop it to be more realistic, more three-dimensional. But if you look at this in this stage, this is what we want to do: is to make a shape, to give it the color of the light, to give the shadow. There you go. Very simple, and now it's up to you how much you develop it. So let's see how can I take it a little bit farther. I still use this mop brush. I tend to like the brush, just to so I put something here, and then maybe I'll put something over there. So the light is coming from the right. We have cast shadow to the left. So I have now 1, 2, and 3, like 2 values in the light, 1 value at the dark. Of course, it's going to be darker. Let's go back to the light of the apple. Just to make it a little bit. Now I keep telling myself that any dark I add at the light has to be as light as the light mask, not too much, not too dark. Yes, the stump will be dark, but that's it in this area. Let's go back to the shadow. I want to put some more paint, more opaque. Let's change the brush. Take a smaller brush. Less water, more pigment. Don't be afraid. Enjoy. It's fun. Now, the thing that I would like to mention is that if you go back and you make a spot darker, try not to cover all this area that you did previously, and also leave something that will show the former layer. It gives some kind of air into this spot. If you just cover it, it's going to be opaque and will be like a gouache or like oil paint, and you don't want to go that kind of feeling. I don't dab too much into this this area. I just fill it in and let the watercolor just do the rest. Now I'm looking at the distance between this value and this value, which is the both and the shadow, and also here. I should darken here. I should darken this area, okay? Just to give more to distinguish more the light from the dark. Another thing I can do in this moment is maybe darken the background a little bit. You're not a house painter, you're a painter, so don't try to think like all this area is this is cloth, it's a pink cloth. Okay, I'll paint it everything. Just remain a little bit with the some kind of conversation with your painting. I was waiting for this to get dry, and now we can continue. I'd like to touch the background a little bit, blue-gray. The background should not be darker than the subject. So the lightest and the darkest will be connected to the subject. It's important to remember, otherwise you will have you will confuse the beholder. Now again, I'm not trying to be nice here. In a way, just to say something about the subject, to give some more light to the subject. So you can use green, or you can use yellow and blue to make green. Can be a little bit with I use here a little bit burnt sienna. Or you can come with the wet, clean brush and just go on the edge just to soften it if I want. Yeah, something like this. And here I want to go back with this orange we talked earlier to get some warm reflected light here in this area. A little bit more. This can be with pure yellow, just to connect the in order to make it a little bit more what I see there, I'll make a darker note right between the shadow and the lemon. I tend to take darks and to take light. It's not a sign what exactly the colors, as long as it gives you what you're looking for, any color is good. Not dark enough. Go back, make it darker. This goes towards the orangey side. So I go back and do this. And yeah, the kind of, so you just can take with water and just bring it up. Now, as I showed you earlier, we can do two things. We can take this light red is always, it's not the color light red, it is lighter value of red, and put it here and make it bleed into the dark and soften it. Okay, so we get some kind of transition. think later on I will put some lines to indicate the texture that we see there, with the lines to give it really as an apple. I think we're almost there in a way that just to give very short and simple ideas how to approach this small subject. Just with a little bit red. Here I have some water with the color. I make it dark here. Let's see what will happen. So I get some kind of distinct value here, stronger. It will bleed together. Okay, now I would like to put some final details on the apple, just to indicate something. With this really simple I think it's pretty much what I wanted to show you. A very simple approach into this watercolor painting of lemon and apple. I would like to encourage you to do something similar at home. If you want to comment or to show, please do it on this page. Thank you for watching.